What's up, my YouTube family? Welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and for a while now, many of you have reached out to the channel asking me to put together one of my favorite builds based around Lady Death. And the thing is, with this weapon, there are so many different ways to run with it, so today I wanted to show you one of my favorites. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, and remember, we are currently having a giveaway for an Xbox Series X. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced on July 4th of this year. Now, one thing I mention at the beginning of every build video I put together is I want to remind especially new and returning players that this is just a template. There are so many different ways to run with a build in this game, especially with a weapon like this, and the most important thing is to truly take your time and make a build your own. Now again, I think this is one of 3 different versions of this build I have. Today I'm going to highlight this one, and over the next coming weeks I'll bring out the others as well. One thing I would like to mention as we start this thing off is I do recommend this build for new players who are just getting into run and gun game style. You know, I know for a lot of people out there, they're kind of just getting back into the game now with countdown and all of these things. You're trying out different types of builds, and for a run and gun, if you're just starting off, I highly recommend this one. As always, I'm starting off with a little bit of gameplay footage, then we're going to get into the build itself, and then at the end of the video, some more footage and a few tips I like to pass along, which should hopefully help you out anytime you're trying out a new build. Now, one thing I will do throughout the build breakdown is I'll be giving you a few different options in regards to certain pieces of gear in the build itself. However, the main focal point of this build is Lady Death, and one of the most commonly asked questions I get is what is the best way to farm for this weapon? Now, as most of you know by now, when you open up your map, you push up on the directional pad, and that is going to show you where the targeted loot is for a specific day. So you can see here American History Museum today is, the day I'm recording this, has the SMGs. You could also see them in the open world. However, in my opinion, the best way to really farm anything in this game right now is to either play Countdown or go to the Summit, because there you can choose your targeted loot, which means anytime you want to farm for the SMGs, you have the option to do so. So starting off with the Specialization, I usually pick one of 2 that I run with when it comes to this build. Now, I'm either going to use Gunner because I love the riot foam grenades. I also like getting that extra armor on kill, and another great option is Firewall, which gives you the option of being able to use the Striker Shield, which has a ton of benefits as well. And remember, as I always mention, regardless of which specialization you choose, always have the proper weapons activated in your weapon skill tree. That way you're always getting a 15% weapon damage bonus regardless of which weapon you have equipped. Needless to say, the primary weapon on this build is Lady Death, and the reason it is so effective is because of the talent Breathe Free. When moving, gain 4 stacks per second or 8 stacks if sprinting, up to 32 stacks total. Each round fired consumes a stack, amplifying damage by 75%. Kills grant 20% movement speed for 10 seconds. My secondary weapon for the build is the ACS-12 automatic shotgun with the talent Close and Personal. Killing a target within 7 meters grants 30% damage for 10 seconds. And as far as my sidearm goes, I'm using the Orbit. Now, this is a Dark Zone exclusive item. However, you can buy it from the Countdown vendor if it happens to be on sale, or you may get it from the named cache. And you can see it has the talent Perfect Finisher, where swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% crit hit chance and 40% crit hit damage for 15 seconds. Now moving on to the gear itself, you can see we're running 4 Hunter's Fury, 1 Sokolov, and the Memento backpack. Starting with the mask, it's the first of the 4 pieces we have equipped of Hunter's Fury, so we get all of those gear set bonuses, and as you can see, the 2-piece bonus gives you 15% shotgun and SMG damage, the 3 pieces 20% armor on kill and 100% health on kill, and 4 pieces Apex Predator. Killing an enemy with your weapon disorients other enemies within 5 meters and amplifies weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Moving on to the body armor, it's the 1 piece of Sokolov we have equipped, so we get that 10% SMG damage bonus, and I'm running with the talent Obliterate, where critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 25 times. Now, another great option that I use sometimes as well is the talent Intimidate. Now, they did make a change with it, however, for this build, I am a fan of Obliterate instead. Now, moving on to the holster, the knee pads, and the gloves. They are the 3 remaining pieces of the Hunter's Fury gear set. Now, on all of these, I'm trying to stack crit hit chance and crit hit damage. Now, where I can, I added a little bit more armor because with this build, I wanted a little bit more survivability. And this goes back to something I mentioned earlier, which is really making a build your own. You know, for me, I wanted to reroll one of my core attributes to armor, armor because I like sitting at about 1.1 to 1.3 million. For me, that's a really good place as far as, my survivability goes. Now we finally have the backpack, and I'm running with the memento because it, in my opinion, is still the best in slot. Now, if you do not have this bag, first of all, you want to farm for it, obviously, but if you don't have it, I recommend any bag with the talent Adrenaline Rush. And actually, as I say that, I recommend one of two bags. You could use the Matador, which is the named, Walker and Harris bag that has the talent Perfect Adrenaline Rush, or you could take a second piece of Soul Glove, put Adrenaline Rush on there, which will give you an extra 15% crit hit damage. As far as my skills are concerned with this build, I'm using my two favorites for this version. I'm using the Crusader Shield and the Assault Drone because it's a great distraction to NPC and puts out damage as well. Now, going back to some footage I was showing you a little earlier, and this is from a countdown run earlier this morning, and by the way, Ghostio, you had sent me a message asking if I was the legit Greybeard. The answer was yes. I tried to respond with my microphone. I don't know if you heard me, but yes, I am not an imposter. It was the real Sergeant Greybeard. But anyway, you can see by this footage that when I was playing, I did get an exotic SMG to drop. However, it was the Backfire. So remember, there are three that can drop when you're playing. There's the Chatterbox, the Backfire, or Lady Death. So if you haven't gotten Lady Death as yet, keep borrowing, my friends. You will definitely get one eventually. Now, at this point in the video, I want to pass along a few tips to new and returning players. First of all, when you're trying out a new build, I strongly recommend going to a mission or control point that you're familiar with. And the reason for that is because you know the timing of the NPC, and that way you can truly see how the weapon responds to your gameplay. And in my opinion, that's when you can determine what tweaks you want to make. Do you want more armor, more weapon damage? Again, there are so many different ways to run with it. Take the time and really cater it to your gameplay. The other recommendation I want to pass along is have different variations of a build. Try one out when you're playing solo. Try another one when you're playing in a group. Because remember, there is enemy scaling, so the more people that are in a group, the tankier the NPCs will be, so you want to make sure you plan accordingly. Most of you know by now that one of my favorite aspects about putting these build videos together is the family we have at the channel, so if you have any tips or tricks you want to pass along, please let me know in the comments section down below, as the main goal is to try to help out as many people as we can. With all that being said, I want to take a moment as always and thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know in the section down below and I will get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. However, like I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
Looks like you got True Sun's reinforcements headed your way.
North or south side?
Both. Heavier concentration to the south.
With all those gates sealed, the north exit should be closer. you!